we're going to have a short, maybe 15, 20-minute max, fireside chat, where we get to hear the story underneath the story, right? We've seen her conquer the world. We've seen her do 25 years of this all over the world. And she's made it look so graceful, so beautiful, with music and flowers. And then we do know all the blood and the gore and the pain that accompanies any birth. And she gives birth every year, right? So Kristin, 25, I just want you to take a moment and savor the 25 years and just share, what does it feel like? Get out of the head, never mind, tomorrow's taken care of, all the buses are leaving on time, everything is done, okay? Just look at yourself, yes.
It's like, I feel very complete in the sense that there's been such also such a big inner journey for me to become who I am today, which has also been part of all of this. And also it has been a lot of work. It has been also a lot. And I think I woke up to that just a couple of years ago, I think 2019 in the autumn. I sort of woke up to how much work it has been. Because I had a little bit of a burnout, and I think I just, and then I had like, oh God, I had just been so on all the time. So of course it's been a lot of work also. But I feel very proud because I have stuck to the original idea of WIN, and I have worked with my heart, I have worked with integrity all the time, and I've had to say no sometimes. There were even sponsors who wanted to sponsor, but they wanted that I changed the words like to caring and sharing, all the feminine words that I've been an advocate for. And then I said, okay, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. And that cost too, because then we didn't have enough budget to do, but we managed to do. I mean, that's the thing. So I feel very happy about having done it the way I wanted it to do it, and also, it is very much in the how, also having always had a team of people from many different countries, different religions, always on the team, and in a way we have always showed that was then possible. You know, yeah, one or two people haven't fit in, but 99.9% of all the people who have worked actually did also work on the team in this intercultural heart way. And then so when we talk about diversity and inclusion, I know it works if we do it with our inclusive, and it's not only hard, you need to have the skills, of course, also. So you need to have structure, you need to work on the spreadsheet, the PowerPoints, we need all of those things. But so now I feel very complete that we managed to do it that long also, and from a very innocent seed that I had originally, because I was like, oh, let's do something for women. Okay, it was a little deeper also. I mean, I traveled the world and I had a pivotal moment when I was in Russia back 26, 27 years ago. And it was something, the fragrance of those trees and the sky, it looked very much like Kristiansund that you saw on the coast of Norway. And just before I had been also traveling other places, but suddenly I realized, oh, I had choice. I went there as a consultant, the company I worked for, I wanted to go. And then I realized, oh my God, growing up in Norway, even if the hospital is a threat right now, but I could choose to travel, I can get education. It didn't even depend on my parents, really. You know? So I had such incredible freedom that I realized women in many, many countries didn't have, not even all men. So that was something I'd woken up to. And then also when I worked in a big bank, and I was good at my job, but it felt like I had a wrong suit on somehow, something didn't fit me. So I started to inquire also about inclusion. What could we do to create a more inclusive place? And I was very active in the Professional Women's Association in Milano, and that was like a family. And I think I always wanted to recreate that feeling of family, which now finally came out also of the corporate world yesterday on the stage. So I think, so those were some of the triggers in the initial idea. And still, I was in my late 20s and running around and let's inspire the women and let's do something. So, and much later in life, I also run on, of course, a lot of obstacles. And then I realized, I thought these 25 years we would have been so much further ahead, even if many of us are, because many of all of you in the room are sitting in your power, you have good positions, but also inside of yourself. I know many are feeling very strong right now. But that we have all this regression that's happening in the world, I had never imagined.
So you're telling us that in 25 years, if all had gone well with the world, we should have been much further ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So let's look back on what was, maybe not one, but give us two of your greatest highs. Okay? Let's go back to the amazing stuff that has also happened.
Yeah.
Two of your greatest highs that made it all worth it.
I think there's so many, but the one that came to my mind now when we were even in Japan, and we were, even with you, I will say, was one high too, when we were, everybody very, very restricted in some ways in the behavior patterns, and we were all dancing, for instance, just to get somebody who's very stiff and very, contained to get loose, and that is good, because we want to be free women, and we can be CEOs of big companies, but we want to be free women, so that's something that drives. So when I see people become free and they wake up to themselves, I always get a kick out of that. And what are the other highs? Yes, also, it's just a high for me to have every conference, to be with all of you. That's always a big high. But particularly, I get a kick out of seeing people being transformed. So when I see somebody very much less than I can imagine their potential of who they are is. And when I see that's changing, then that's cool.
So you're too humble to call out anything special particularly, but let's talk about Win, okay?
Yeah.
If Win is your baby, and you've seen her, I think it's a her, right?
Definitely.
You've seen her become 25 years old. What was your proudest mama moment?
Oh, that's cool. I mean, she has met, of course, we can talk, she has met ministers in Japan. I mean, the current mayor of Tokyo, she has met when she was Minister of Foreign Affairs. She has met ministers in Norway, in Delhi. We have met many of them. So she has met all the important shakers and movers in the world. She has met CEO of huge companies. We mentioned Paul Polman, Paul Hudson, and so on and so forth. Even the big men have been here to win. So she has done all of that. And then she has also had amazing, all the different women have been her, I think, and the men. So those are, on the outer plane, important people. And it feels good. I mean, when you have very, very, people who have a lot of influence in the world, and they are with Win, that also means something. Sherry Blair we have had, so I can name you so many people that were in the news or are in the news that have been here at the Win, on the Win stage. Yeah. So.
And UN recently, right? Which was...
Oh yeah, we did that too with CSPOC and GCF. We were at the UN. So that was also cool, because it was very interesting to do the UN. You think it's so amazing, and it is amazing. I know we have UN people here in the room. But still, it was very restricting too. It was like this woman I talked about that is not free yet. Yeah. So I had organized with the music in the beginning, as I normally do when I direct a program like this. No, you can't have music here because it's only talks. Yeah, but no, either you do a concert or you do this. No, but we are uniting the nations. So I was thinking that music can help a little. No. And then I want us to sit like this, so there is not so many stuff in front of us, because I want to have more direct contact with the people. No. We have to have these big tables with the thing. So I was thinking, I have some ideas of how we can redo that organization.
Yeah, right?
And also like names, we put the first name first. So there was like K. Engvig, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm Kristin. But because also that in intercultural, international, is difficult sometimes to remember all these different names.
Long surnames.
Yeah, long surnames from somewhere,
Yeah.
So, Yeah, so we did the UN.
Okay, yeah, that too. Okay, so thank you for celebrating your baby and your proud mama moments. What about, also acknowledging the other side, and not looking at them as your greatest lows,
No.
but what do you need to laugh and let go? So when I say laugh, love, accept, forgive,
Yeah.
and let go.
Yeah, I think, yes, it's interesting. I mean, I think if it was, so let's do one thing. So in the early days of this, not so long time ago even, maybe, 5, 10 years ago, I took all criticism very hard, and I didn't understand at that time that not everybody understood the feminine principles. So I thought that was so obvious. It was a little bit complicated when you see a lot of the new things, the trends, and you don't realize that the others don't do it. And then I'm very intuitive, so I'm just like quickly to what I think. And I didn't understand that other people were not so intuitive. So then they didn't understand. So often I got oh, she's so messy, she has no structure. But I have structure. It's just that it wasn't so clear for other people to see, and I didn't know that I didn't communicate it. So then I took it so hard, and often I suffered a lot because people don't understand, they think it's bad. So that's something I let go of, and it's taken me a long time to let go of that. But I feel that I have let go of already. Worked, and this COVID year is very fantastic to to really work deep on some of those residues that were sitting in my cells that really needed to. Because sometimes you build up resentfulness. I don't know if it's happened to you sometimes, but it certainly happened to me. So then you start like, it wasn't just the men, it was all the women, they don't understand. But okay, I feel I've cleaned up a lot of that. I don't think it's very much left, actually.
Fabulous.
So thank you, COVID and lockdown.
So I want to talk about magic.
Magic, yeah.
Okay? Because if there is one word that differentiates WIN from all other women's conferences that are more in this kind of corporate global space, it's magic.
Yeah.
And you own that word.
Yeah.
You own it with great confidence. And I think any person who's come to WIN knows what you're talking about. So this is the invisible field, but it's very tangible here. So I hope in front of all of us, you can feel safe to share what is that wind beneath your wings?
Yeah.
What is that force with you?
Yeah. Yes, it's so interesting because first, it's, I had a vision, like we talked about, not dreams and a vision. So I say, okay, one day we'll have a world where the feminine is in balance with the masculine, let's say. But even for me, that was a hunch or I wanted this to happen. I don't know. And then in order to do that, I also needed to do a lot of work on myself so that I could become my vision, so that my vision is my way. So that I am walking, talking, being, breathing the thing I'm talking about. So, but how does one do that, right? And but just a lot of things. So the day I started WIN, which is actually quite a risky adventure, because anyone who is an entrepreneur, whether you are an NGO, social entrepreneur, or a business entrepreneur, you have to launch there is no, the safety net is not the same. You have freedom, but you don't have the safety net of things. So then I started also to inquire about who am I. I started yoga, I think, the same moment that I started WIN, more or less. So I became aware of me, I think, more or less at the same time as I started the WIN. So I started a lot of yoga. I have been doing Qigong. I have done a lot of also on the spiritual quest. And I've studied theater for a very long time, a particular type of Zen theater. And I was smiling to Mariette every day. And then I learned for anyone who studied acting or any of the arts, it is about in this invisible field to create also in this emptiness that is here. And then one thing led to another. I just started, my intuition made me know how to to feel what's going on in a room and to call in, and I feel now also we are so protected by, I don't know, goddesses perhaps, or that are coming in here and helping us. And I think that's a perception, and maybe you too, when you feel goosebumps or you feel like a hunch in your stomach, you have to follow that. And that's what I learned over the years. And practicing, then you know how to master also the space. Yeah.
I know what's another career for her if you want. You know, you got to become the Henrietta Potter, right? Like, teach a course in magic, right? Yeah. Because there's a course in miracles, and very close to that is this thing called a course in magic, because you have discovered magic and how to create it. And it's something the world, and certainly women, need to learn, because it's very close to them. They can get it very quickly. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Win Magic, if that becomes a course, that would be something. A school, like a Hogwarts, right? They've got Winwart or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it, right? But yeah, so the School of Magic, the Win School of Magic.
And I think even just being here, I mean, appreciate the space in which you are in, because it's not only the learning, but it's also the space. It's in a way almost like a shower of magic, that's happening. I caught myself earlier today, and you should do the same, because I remember I was introducing someone today, and I was after Cynthia spoke, and I talked about this, the East and the West. Yeah. And then the first thing the next speaker had planned to talk about was exactly that. And then after that, I asked you all to feel your feet on the ground. And then the next speaker, she was all about taking that from the ground. Yeah. And I didn't know that they were about to talk about it, but we were sensing into it. And we all have that power. Yeah. So, yeah. And I just caught it because I want to share this, because it's not that we plan these things. So sometimes we need to then not stop ourselves with what we had planned. You see what I mean? Yeah.
It's synchronicity, right? Joe Jaworski's great book, and we all know it, you know, even before he wrote the book. We know it is a thing, it exists. And as A Course in Miracles says, a miracle is when everything works for everyone. And there's something about this feminine field and intelligence that knows how to tap into that and then activate that for everybody. And that's a skill you have learned over time. Yeah. So we have just a minute left. I know you worked with will and grace, okay? You have brought this wonderful masculine energy of will operating at its best, okay? You exercise your will with all your smarts. You're super intelligent. And then you have allowed for grace. Yeah. You have the capacity to surrender and allow for grace. So with the will and the grace, and you know, how have you honored the past? We've heard that. You've celebrated the present. We've heard about that. So with will and grace, what is the future that you're dreaming up, Kristin?
Yeah, it's interesting. I very much see that I would like to have the Win Together Foundation. I think that Win should be all over the place. And I think to in a way, safeguard the values, I believe that it should be in a foundation setting. And I heard the other day that Nazir said, why don't you do Win Young in Manchester? And I thought, wow, yeah, that would be great to get all the young women come in. So we'll see a little bit what comes into the field also, so that can be possible. I am currently trying to finish a book that I started, because I feel that is also so important, that many of these things are written down. I think that will then give me a lot of freedom to go to the next listening for what the next will be. So I don't have the crystal clear dream yet. I feel like I'm in the middle of that, and it's important that I complete a few things, and then that next thing is coming. And I'm sure that's something you feel sometimes we are in the middle of things, or the dream is you need to complete certain things, and then the next thing can emerge. But I started to sort of feel that. And I see also what has come into the field is more and more collaborations also, that you do the UN, we did with the CSPOC and Global Citizen Forum, then maybe something in Egypt for this COP27. I mean, that still needs to be elaborated. But there are little things like that, and then I think we can all, as WIN community, be part of many other things with other organizations as well.
So we're back to that will and grace. You can use your will to dream up, but you have the grace to also surrender that dream for what the field is going to bring in, right?
Yes, yes.
And not just go with, this is my dream, and that's how it's going to be, right? Yeah, so you've shown the magic of how to work these two things together. And yes, so on that note, thank you, Kristin.
Thank
we
you.
see you, we honor you, and I just ask everyone to just connect with their heart. And I want Kristin to open your hands and face the audience.
Yes.
And I want you to just beam all your goodwill and your love straight from your heart to her heart, okay? Send all the love and the blessings. You can send this beautiful creature that chose to incarnate on this planet at this time. We are so grateful. May the force be with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.